In this video, I'm going to tell you how you can lose weight, stay on track and get the best shape of your life, even if you have to stay at home. My name's Melissa Neal and welcome to my channel Fit Over 40. My channel is all about helping women over the age of 40 get in the best shape of their lives. So if you like the sound of that, please hit the subscribe button and the bell notification button and give this video the thumbs up. I'll be completely honest with you, I have found it a really tough challenge staying on track whilst being stuck inside the house. Now, I don't know what things are like for you, but at the moment we're allowed out for about an hour a day for exercise, that's it, or to visit the shops to buy really important things like foods or medicines. But other than that, we've got to stay in the house or in our garden, in our backyard. So it is really challenging, isn't it, to stay motivated? So that's why I thought I'd make this video with my top 10 tips on how to stay in shape, how to stay motivated, and how to actually make some changes to your body whilst being stuck in the house using home workouts and a really great diet plan. And please keep watching right until the end of the video because I'm going to give you a free bonus that you can get from me, and I'm also going to give you my most important tip of all, so please stay right until the end to listen to what I have to say. So my number one tip for keeping on track while we're staying at home and staying focused, it's really important to get into a routine. So when you're actually going out to work, and at the moment I'm working from home and I'm in the house all day, when we're going out to work, we get into a routine, don't we? It's about scheduling our workout plans, making meals up ahead. Well, that doesn't change when you're at home. It's exactly the same. You need to get into a routine. So for me, that's getting up early in the morning. I get up at a ridiculous hour of 5 a.m. and actually planning my workouts in at that time of the morning. And unless I do that, it could very likely slip and I don't do my workout at all because you've got all day, you're at home, and you could just say to yourself, well, I'll do that later on, and later never comes. And I've been in that situation before where I had a home gym, which I never used because I always said to myself, well, I can work out later on. So that's my number one tip. Get into a routine, plan when you're going to do your workouts, and make your meals up ahead to avoid overeating and eating the wrong things. My number two tip is to set yourself some goals. So again, this doesn't change just because you're at home, but you might want to just re-establish your goals or set some new goals. So for me, I'm not competing anytime soon because a lot of the competitions have actually been cancelled. So I've booked myself in to have a photography session with a professional fitness photographer, and I'm getting ready for that. So that photography session is 8 weeks away. So I need to get and stay in shape for that. And I'll be completely honest with you, since being at home, I have had some slip-ups with food. It's really difficult. So I'm going to spend my time making my meals up ahead, as I've said in point one, and really focusing on what my goals are. So for me, that's getting in shape for a photography shoot, but it could be that you actually set some measurable goals. So they could be about your body fat percentage, what body fat percentage you want to be, how many inches you want to lose. I know I need to lose about 2 inches off my waist, or set a goal for the scale. How much do you want to weigh on the scale? So those are the kinds of things that you can do, and that doesn't change just because you're at home all day. That stays exactly the same. My next tip is to include HIIT training, that's high intensity interval training, in your workout plans at home. Now, you know that on YouTube there are a plethora of fitness gurus that have got HIIT training programs, and I'm going to do some more, but I've linked one of mine down below, and it only takes 15 minutes. HIIT training should be very, very high, intense intervals of really intense workout with a period of rest. So it's 30 seconds of intense workout and 30 seconds off, which is a really typical routine for a 15-minute workout. And you will find that's incredibly effective for burning fat. It's really good for your mind, so as well as your body, mentally it's absolutely fantastic. Because it just sort of perks you up for the day, and I do mine in the morning. I've actually started doing a jump rope high intensity interval training, but you can do any of the workouts, or it could be bursts of sprinting if you wanted to go outside, whatever works for you, and that's going to keep that fat off, stop you gaining any weight, and keep you motivated. When we're not stuck at home, I would advise women over the age of 40 to include strength training in their workout regimes, and I do a great deal of strength training. It doesn't make you bulky, but you might be wondering, well, how can I do strength training at home? Well, I've been developing a workout plan, and actually you can do some great strength training with body weight and a minimal amount of equipment. Since I've been at home, which is actually a couple of weeks now, I have found I've got muscle soreness. I have been really challenging myself and just using body weight bands and some light weights. So you can do it. You can absolutely reach your goals and then make good improvements with just home workouts. It is possible. I did wonder whether it was possible before I actually had to work from home, but I've realised now, having done some of the routines and worked out some of the plans, that actually it's really possible to have a great effective workout at home and really reach your goals. So now that we've established it's a really good idea to strength train from home, I just thought I'd show you some of the equipment that would be really useful for you to have. And in the future I'm going to be making some videos of sort of home strength training workouts. So with the HIIT workouts, it's not so important. You don't really need equipment. And as I said, we're doing a lot of strength training with body weight, but these are the things that I think you could use that would really benefit and help sort of muscle development. So I'm holding this is a glute band. So I'm just going to show you. You put this around your legs, and you can do a range of exercises like squats, a lot of the glute exercises, so the things like the hip abductors, some of the glute bridges, all that kind of thing. These are great, and they're really inexpensive. That didn't cost, actually I think I got it free with some clothing. And then there's this type of band with the handle. So those are really useful as well, because you can do a lot of your upper body with that. I've been doing some stuff around upper body, and these are absolutely brilliant. And the other thing, if you've got it available, then some light dumbbells. These are what I call girls' dumbbells. They're really light. They're sort of 4 kilos, which is about £8. So I tried to get hold of other heavier dumbbells, but there's just nothing available, because in the UK, as soon as we were told we couldn't go to gyms anymore, everything was just sold out or just extremely expensive. So yeah, that's really good. And then if you can stretch to a kettlebell, this one's 5 kilos, which is about 10 pounds. Now that's a bit light for me, and I've been trying to get hold of one that's 16 kilos, but it's nigh on impossible to get those as well. So whatever you can find, just beg, borrow and steal. And then finally, just a mat for you to do all your lying down exercises. So that's it. Not very many things. They're really, really not expensive, but they'll help you with your strength training workouts at home. My number 5 tip is to get outside. Try and get outside. I mean, I'm allowed to be outside once a day. That's kind of out of the house, out of the garden, out of my backyard, actually going for a walk, going for a run if that's your bag, going for a cycle, whatever works for you. Try and get outside and get some fresh air, because that can make you feel so much better. And if you're kind of menopausal like me, you might suffer from headaches and a bit of irritableness. I get irritable. Then actually getting outside, even if it's for 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, it's going to really, really help with your mental well-being and just feeling good. So my other top tip, so this is number 6 top tip, is try not to keep bad foods around the house, the foods that you don't really want as part of your meal or diet plan. So if you're trying to lose weight or actually just trying to stay in shape, because our level of activity by staying at home, it would have gone down a tremendous amount. I know with looking at my sort of fitness watch, I'm not doing as much as I did before because I'm not running around, going out and about, going to places. So what's happening is my activity levels are going right down. So having bad food around and sort of snacking on that, it's going to be really, really detrimental at the moment when you're not being as active. And, you know, I've told you to do the HIIT workouts and strength training, but with all the best will in the world, you're still not going to be as active as you would when you were going out and about doing things. So it's really, really important to try and steer away from the bad food. And on that note, this is really, really one of the tough challenges, is try not to binge. Now, I've said this in my other videos, but I suffer from binge or emotional eating, and I've had a couple of episodes since I've been stuck at home because I've just found it really, really difficult, not being able to go out, having to work out from home. I really, really admire women, a lot of mums already work out from home and never go to the gym. I've honestly found it quite tough being out of my routine and having to sort of do my workouts at home. I've just not found it as inspiring. And so what's happened to me is I've turned to food for comfort and done a bit of comfort eating on lots of carbohydrates. And I've really done a little bit of soul searching about why am I doing that? It's ruining my goals. And just because we're bikini competitors, it doesn't mean that we don't get that. And in fact, a lot of us are probably worse than most people because we're used to a lot of restriction, eating from a diet plan, and in a way it kind of promotes an eating disorder. So sometimes bikini competitors can, because we kind of tend to be all or nothing people, so we can go through periods of real restriction and not, you know, eating anything unless it's on the plan, and, you know, getting quite lean, which means we're sort of actually doing without a lot of food. So it can sort of promote an eating disorder. So I wouldn't say I've got an eating disorder, but I do have periods where I do binge eat. So this is really going on to my next point, which is keep a diary. So keep a diary of what you're eating, Keep a diary of what training and activity you're doing. Even if it's going out for a walk, that's still activity. And keep a journal of everything. And if you have a time when you actually overeat, eat all the wrong things and binge on lots of cakes, sweets, chocolate, candy, all that kind of thing, actually write down exactly what you've ate and how you felt about it when you've done it. And that should really, really help you stay on track and understand if there's a pattern and why you're doing it. Write down how you feel when you do have those periods of overeating, because a lot of the time it's not hunger, it's boredom, or it's just because you're feeling a bit low, which was my case. And I've got a lot to be grateful for. I have work, my family and I, we're all well at the moment, so I have a lot to be grateful for, but it's just been difficult getting out of our routine, hasn't it? And it's quite difficult for some people to adjust to that if they're used to being active and going out and about. Being based at home all the time, you can feel quite cooped up, and that's when you turn to overeating. So keeping a record, keeping a journal of everything is really, really going to help. It's important to point out, and this is my next tip, because you're being really inactive compared to your normal routine, being stuck at home could mean you're doing quite a lot less activity. So you may need to reduce your calorie intake to adjust to that. Now I know for me, my calorie intake is actually built around lifting heavy weights in the gym, and although I'm doing a home workout, I won't need as many calories with bodyweight exercises as I do with a gym workout. So unfortunately my calories need to be lowered a little bit to take that into account. Otherwise, I am actually going to gain weight, and it may be the same for you. So keep a track. Most people have tracking devices or watches at the moment. So if you have, keep a track on what you're doing now activity wise and compare that to what you were doing before. And if it's less, you need to be eating less, because the whole thing about staying and getting in shape is basically calories in versus calories out. And if your calories out, which means you're not expending as much energy, has gone down, then you need to adjust what you're taking in. So that's really, really important. And I'm sorry, but that's actually quite difficult, isn't it, when you've got to reduce the amount that you're eating? Because we've just talked about eating as a kind of comfort thing when we're having to stay in a lot, but you're probably watching this because you wonder how you can either stay in shape or get in better shape. Then that's something you may need to look at, is just taking your calories down a little bit, and possibly reducing the carbohydrate might be the best way of doing that. So I promised you that I would give you my final tip, and this is so important and probably the most important thing of all, but it's looking after your mental health. We have to recognize that staying in all the time and the outbreak of coronavirus and all the impacts that that's bringing, kids being off school, having to homeschool them, maybe having to work from home or not having any work or income at all these things will take a toll on our mental health. And so we have to recognize that. And that's what I did when I realized I was actually overeating and binge eating. I recognised that actually what was happening was this period of confinement was actually affecting my mental health, and that's why I was overeating, because overeating is a form of giving myself comfort. And so what I then decided to do was look at ways that I could actually cheer myself up, and one of the things I do is I contact a friend or a family member each day to talk to them via video chat or telephone, So, you know, catching up and keeping in touch with friends is probably one of the benefits of having a lot more time on our hands at the moment, is we can stay in touch with people. We can't see them physically, we can't see them in person, but we can stay in touch online quite easily now with the use of technology. So I've been doing that. That makes me feel good. And the other thing for me, and you've got to find out what works for you, is dancing. Dancing's really, really important for me. So I've been taking some time out each day, even though it's on my own and with nobody else. I used to sort of dance in groups of people and out at clubs and all that sort of thing, and I can't do that. So I'm dancing at home, putting some music on, putting the tables to one side and actually doing a dancing routine. So that's really, really great for making me feel good. But you might have a hobby, you might do crafts, it might be cooking, it could be lots of different things that gives you that sort of therapeutic balance where you're focusing on something that's lifting your mood. You're not doing it because you feel you have to do it. So the workout stuff might be, and it has been for me the last couple of weeks, something I feel I have to do. So I want to do something that makes me feel good, and whatever makes you feel good, then try and sort of include it in your daily life, and recognize this is going to be really, really hard on your mental health. So staying on track with your exercise and with your diet, with your food, your meal plans, it's going to be much, much tougher. And that's because the mindset side of it is so much tougher than it was for people. And don't beat yourself up about it if you do go off track like I did, and I really understand how that feels, because you can sort of feel really bad about yourself if you didn't exercise or you ate the wrong foods. Don't feel bad about it. Recognize it's normal human behavior, and we're all human, and you know, you get dopamines from eating and serotonin. So there are all these things that actually go straight to your brain and make you feel good. If you eat something like some chocolate, that's the reason why. It's not because you're a bad person. It's because these types of food actually make you feel good. And if you haven't motivated yourself to work out, don't beat yourself up about it that day. Just make a plan for the next day and the rest of the week. These are the days I'm going to work out, and this is what time I'm going to do it. And for me, that's getting up first thing in the morning and getting it done. But for you, it might be in the evening when you might have more energy. I promised you at the end of this video that I was going to give you a free bonus, and if you click the link below, you will see that you can download a free home workout plan which is based around improving your booty and your abs. I know these are areas that women we worry about, don't we? I hope you liked my top tips for staying motivated and keeping on track and actually making some progress and getting in shape while we're all stuck at home. So please give it the thumbs up and hit the subscribe button and the bell notification button to receive more videos like this.